What's up? Let's get ready to work tonight. This is going to be great. I'm excited. Monday, I'm on all networks on a Monday. This is going to be great. This is going to be good tonight. Tonight's going to be so good. And so y'all better jump in. Will not see you Thursday. I will not see you next Monday. I will see you again next Thursday. Blessings, good brother who knitted the skull. Somebody from my church did it, but I've got a line that's coming, and I'm reviewing it right now. Let me get my stuff together. I a little tired flying today, but glad to be on tonight. Like I said, if I did not come live tonight, then you all wouldn't see me for 2 weeks. So I'm excited about tonight's live. This is going to be good. The audacity of the comment section. Oh boy, this is going to be good. And I'm so excited you tuned in to share. Do me a favor. Let me get my notes together. While we are doing that, I want you to like the video, share the video. And as we always do, city, state, or country, if you're not from America that you're tuned in from. Let me see it in the comments. Let me shout you out really quick. Yeah, this is Monday. We typically don't do Mondays. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. All right, city, state, country. City, state, or country. Let's see it. Like the video, share the video. Like the video, share the video. City, state, country. Where are you tuned in from? New York City. Thank you. Nashville, Boston. Congrats, Boston. Newark. Jackson, Mississippi. All right. Dartmouth. Greenville. Thank you so much, Greenville, again. Appreciate you. Alameda, California. Covington, Montclair, Topeka, Richmond, Brandon, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Jamaica. Thank you so much. Jamaica shows us a lot of love every week. Greensboro, Charlotte, Connecticut, Toronto, Schenectady, New York. I hope I said that right. Queens, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Connecticut, Charlotte, Chicago, Vegas, Danville. Okay. Danville, Virginia. All right. Just got off a flight from Tulum. I'm mad at you, Carmen. Very mad and jealous. Good for you. Getting on another flight in 2 days or 1 day. Vegas, Seattle, Sun City, Vegas again, Arlington. Thank you. South Carolina, Sarasota, South Africa. Thank you. Johannesburg. Really appreciate that. Sarasota, Alabama. Hey from Houston again. Thank you so much. Tallahassee. All right, y'all. Good. Keep going. Vegas, Seattle, Sun City, Center, Florida, NOLA, one of my favorite cities, Michigan, New Jersey. All right. Keep going. Let's keep going. Let's get everybody in. It's going to be a good live tonight. Get your journals. After you do that, go ahead and grab your journals, grab some coffee or something. Get something to take notes with. This is going to be a good session tonight. We're going to work. Chicago, Schenectady. Thank you. Schenectady. I appreciate that. I completely goofed that up. Thank you, Christine. NOLA again, Nashville, Tennessee, Georgia, Fort Lauderdale, Houston, Alabama. Been missing you as well, Tamara Fort. TikTok has me banned, shadow banned. Brooklyn, New York, Dallas. Thank you. Houston, Memphis, New York again, Louisiana. Like the video, share the video, y'all. I know many people aren't used to seeing me live on Monday. But go ahead and like the video, share the video after you shoot your city, state, or country. Dallas, Tallahassee, Houston, Brooklyn. This is going to be an incredible session tonight. Incredible session. The audacity of the comment section. It's going to be fun, and it's for all of you people that are so concerned about what people think about you. And it's been so concerning that it has kept you from making decisions in your life to become the best version of yourself. And you will never be anything great worrying about what people think. But we'll talk about that in a second. British Columbia. Thank you. Canada. Thank you. Durham, DC. Just in DC had a blast. Cincinnati, Ohio. DC showed so much love. Thank you, DC. A lot of Washington, DC people on. I got so much love the last 4 days in DC. Kept running into people, and everybody was so kind to me and my kids. And I appreciate the love, and I look forward to seeing DC real soon. Again. All right, Houston, again, thank you so much. Good. Tech people, I appreciate that. Bronx, New York. Yes. All right. Thank you. Bronx again, Mississippi. Get your journals if you haven't already. As soon as you do your city, state, Southern Maryland, thank you. As soon as you do your city, state, Baltimore, hey, tailor made, Harrisburg, PA, Dallas again. As soon as you type your city, state, or country, go ahead and grab your journals. Let's get ready to work tonight. Stockbridge, Georgia, LA, Delaware, Mississippi, Boston. Thank you. Southern Maryland, missed you. I know, Shahara, I missed you. I think you were coming in and I was going out. But we're gonna make that work. I'm gonna see you real soon. Definitely need to make my way to Arizona. Detroit, Dayton, Boston, Columbus, Mississippi, Birmingham. Hey Jesse, Boise, Douglasville. All right. Good. Yep, definitely tea time. Wisconsin. Wow, I think the first person from Wisconsin that's tuned in tonight that I've seen. But thank you so much, Wisconsin. I get a lot of support actually from Wisconsin. New York, San Diego. All right, all right. Invite. Got you. Dallas, Asheville. Let's get into it tonight. I want you to put in the subject line, tonight's subject, the audacity of the comment section. We're on all networks tonight. So I need you to share this video and get this video out. And this is going to go hard. Can't wait to see you as well, Kristen, in Houston. It's going to be a good time. Minnesota, San Antonio, Iowa. Wow, you guys are still coming in. Merced, California, Lancaster, PA. Yes, like the video, share the video, and type in the comments tonight's topic, the audacity of the comment section. It's going to make a lot of sense. You're going to be glad you tuned in tonight. And I want to give you a couple of things first as ground rules before we get started. Again, I'm coming tonight because you may have seen my story, a little holiday with the kiddos. We went to DC. And it was a good time, and they really love DC, and I'm glad they do. And flew back in today, had a few calls, and I'm back out again on Wednesday for a solo day. Really excited about that 'cause I'm tired. So I'm going to be out Thursday. I'm going to be out next Monday. And yes, hey, what's up, Marcus? Appreciate you, brother. Yep, spoke at the airport. Appreciate you. Thank you for the love, my man. A lot of love this weekend from Charlotte and DC for sure. And looking forward to seeing y'all soon. So yeah, I'm going to be out Thursday, and I will be out next Monday. And so I wanted to do the live tonight because it'll be 2 weeks if I didn't. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, ground rules real quick. Like the video, share the video. If you want to support, be sure to support the show. You might see some salads fly up the screen. People aren't being funny. They're not throwing tomatoes at me. The salads are for people who are saying support the show or who have supported the show. And you will see the ways to support on the screen. My moderators do a wonderful job of making sure to moderate the show and what we have going on. And so definitely support the show. You'll see the ways to support on the screen, and you can contribute a salad or something towards my lunch if you want to support what we shared tonight. Also, real quick, please keep the comments, especially tonight. Please keep the comments respectful and professional. We have a great community here that we're starting. I want to really take this up a notch or two in the next month or so. I'll have some more information on that real soon. But really appreciate all of you that provide tremendous feedback in the comments. And so continue to do that. In the event that you see a ratchet comment in the comment section, you might see a bunch of eagles flying across the screen. There's nothing wrong with your screen, and there's nothing wrong with us. Those eagles simply mean we fly high above birds. And so we certainly try to keep it that way. And so if you see anything that's just out of pocket, feel free to just drop a eagle in the comments, and we will follow suit. Because I absolutely have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to bullying. All right, this is going to be fun. Get your journals. You're going to need them tonight. This is going to be good. I'm ready to challenge you. I hope you're ready. And this is going to be a lot of fun. In the comments, the audacity of the comment section. Let's talk about this tonight and really what this is about. Because at the end of the day, in a nutshell, I'm going to deal with you tonight and talk a little bit about moving beyond the opinions of people, right? Because really, this is what this is about. It's about moving beyond people's opinions. And what I'm noticing in my work, and I'll talk about new clients. I've got a lot of, I'm just here for the comments. I've got a lot of announcements at the end tonight. A lot of great things that are moving and great news about opening my calendar. Again, many of you have asked about that. So looking forward to it. All right. Oh, how could I forget? If I say something that makes sense, type church in the comments with as many R's as possible. And we would appreciate it. Now, I want to deal with how we can move beyond the opinions of others. Now, this is going to be uncomfortable for, I'll tell you the people this will be uncomfortable for. This is going to be uncomfortable for people pleasers. This is going to be comfortable for people who have a problem with people not liking them or receiving them, because there is a stage in your healing journey that you get to where you become more interested in healing than receiving people's approval. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges I've seen in my work. 962 clients, 32 countries. Probably one of the greatest challenges I've seen in my work is people who really struggle with making decisions to move their lives forward for fear of what people will say, how they will respond, etc. And so this is going to be big. I've got to challenge you tonight to move beyond the opinions of other people, because that really is one of the greatest breakthroughs you're going to receive in your healing journey. I tell people that one of the byproducts of being healed, frankly, is courage. Courage is a big doc. How do I know I'm healing? How do I know I've reached to a place where I'm healing and I'm moving in the direction that I want to move in or need to move in? Well, how courageous are you? Because courage is absolutely an indicator that you're making progress in your journey. You're going to be willing to try things. You're going to be willing to do things different. You're going to be willing to step out and do something different. You're going to be willing to step out and try something different. You're going to be willing to step out and be different. Courage is absolutely always an indicator of growth, of healing. And so we got to do this, and we got to learn how to move beyond the opinions of others. And this is going to be critical for this time, because we're absolutely in a day and age where people really put the opinions of people on pedestals. Many of you put the opinions of people on pedestals, and we see this from how you operate and how you move. So many of you, if I'm being honest tonight, and it's going to get brutal in a little bit, I'm just trying to warm you up. If I'm being honest, so many of you would be so much further in your life, in your careers, in your relationships, in your connections, with your family, whatever. You would be so much further if you did not have the opinions of people on pedestals. Now, this does not mean that every opinion doesn't count. We're going to talk about that later. I'll get into that. But the reality is, many of you are giving people way too much influence regarding your life. Okay? Many of you are giving people way too much influence regarding your life. And you've got to stop that. And we're going to talk about this because I'm not quite sure having an opinion is all that it's cracked up to be. And let's start here. All right. I'm not quite sure having an opinion is all it's cracked up to be, because having an opinion is all right. Record this, but it's overrated. Record it. This is your first note. Put it in the chat. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. Having an opinion is all right, but it's overrated. I'm going to prove it. Having an opinion is a right. You have a right to have one. But also, having an opinion is overrated. This should be obvious. The reason why this is obvious is because every opinion you hear is not a correct opinion. This is going to be good. Many of us confuse a platform with a voice. Just because you have a platform doesn't mean you have a voice. Just because you have a microphone does not mean you have a voice. If you don't believe me, scroll on social media, find a popular post, and read the comment section. Unfortunately, social media has exposed the fact that all of us have a microphone. All of us don't deserve a voice. So when you find yourself getting easily worked up by people who have a microphone, and you assume that because they have a mic, they have a voice, then at a certain point, this doesn't become a them problem. This becomes a you problem. So we're going to break through some of this tonight, because I've had to work through clients who are really struggling with making critical decisions in their lives. And for many of them, one of the greatest hurdles to get over is, Doc, what is such and such going to think about me? Or people such and such, they're saying this about me. How am I going to make this decision and move beyond what people think about me? But here's the reality. Just because someone speaks doesn't mean they have the authority to do so. Just because people are talking doesn't mean they have the authority to do so. So we cannot take the perspectives or the commentary of everybody around us so personal all the time. I'm going to give you examples of when you should take this commentary personal. I'm going to give you examples of when you should take opinions and feedback personal. But the reality is, many of you are still arguing with people on social media who have a microphone only because they have an Instagram account. Just because you have an Instagram account doesn't mean you have a voice. And does not mean you have authority. It does not mean you have the authority to say what you say. And when you start looking at it this way, you will spend less time going back and forth with people, especially people, you ready, who are not on the same healing journey and level that you're on. Because whether you like it or not, I'm going to say it for the 100th time. We are not all the same, and we are not on the same level. All of us. We are not all on the same levels, and we are not all the same. I need you to put in the comments in all capital letters, levels. There's levels to careers. There's levels to money. There's levels to health. There's levels to a healing journey. And when you recognize this, you will be an eagle and stop responding and being intimidated and influenced by birds. There's levels to this stuff. And so, if we don't understand that, then we will think that every comment, every piece of feedback, every concern about feedback is going to be so important to us that it will keep us from pursuing the things we should be pursuing. And I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of people talking that don't need to say nothing. I was told a long time ago, you don't have something nice to say or something credible to say, maybe you shouldn't be talking at all. And yet many of you allow people you don't even know with feedback that ain't even relevant to influence the major decisions you need to make in your life. This is why many of you are stuck in bad marriages. Not because you don't want to get out, but because you're worried about what people who got bad marriages themselves are going to say about you. That was salad worthy already. My stomach's growling. And I'm going to talk about all this stuff that many of you are stuck in, but you better listen to me. There are some instances where silence is the most appropriate response. And I'm going to tell y'all, there's a whole lot of days Doc want to ruin his brand and go back and forth with the idiots that sit on my posts that are perfectly positive posts who try to find something to say. Can I say this? I expect at least one salad on this. Support the show. Can I say this? And I don't care if it offends you. The purpose of social media content is not to speak to everybody's situation. Here's the breaking news. The purpose of social media is not to speak to everybody's situation. When I do my post, I don't think about the nearly 1 million people that follow me on 4 platforms. I don't. What I do is share snippets of conversations with clients to pull out larger meanings that I hope influence and impact the well-being of as many people as possible. So when you come under my video or somebody else's video and say stuff like, Doc, you left out this. What about this? I think you're wrong on this. Number one, you're commenting on a 10-minute video from a 60-minute conversation. Number two, grow up. Because you know what the comment section has done for all of us. The comment section has made all of us begin to feel like we are entitled to something. Nothing has influenced the idea or the spirit of entitlement more than social media. Thank you, Ganaris. I'm just getting warmed up. Nothing has purported entitlement more than social media. That the fact that just because you think you can say something, that means you're right. Please. You got a microphone, but that don't mean you got a voice. And we really need to grow up. Because this stuff, listen, I'd recommend it to my clients. I did to several clients just last week. Doc, I'm trying to heal. I'm working on this. I'm dealing with some people pleasing thing. Perfect. You got some tips? All right, cool. Get off social media. How much time you spend on social media a day? About 5-6 hours. Shut down social media. Take a 30-day break. You know why? Because you need to deprogram your mind and your focus from the comment section. And this idea that just because somebody has something to say, it doesn't mean that they have something credible to say. And until you can understand that, get off social media. Thank you, Shanalia. It's bad out here. It's bad. It's bad. And see, sometimes silence is just appropriate, y'all. As much as you would want to go back and forth with people or be swayed by the opinions of people, you got to recognize that there are levels in this work. You got to recognize that there are levels even in your healing journey. That everybody's not in the lane that you're in. Not everybody's heading in the direction that you're going. And you really can't afford to lose your energy or waste it in spaces that are not on the place that you are. There are levels. And the minute you embrace that, it's the minute this stuff is going to feel a whole lot better. You ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And recognize that everybody's commenting ain't always got nothing significant to say. Okay. But why is this important? Let's go further. When you recognize that everybody that's talking doesn't have something necessarily something significant to say, then you get to this place where you learn how to develop what I call a healthy relationship with feedback. I want you to record this. The inability to receive feedback explains a lot of life challenges. The inability to receive feedback explains a lot of life challenges. There's such a thing as just ridiculous feedback, which many of us just don't respond to. If you're not on my level, intellectually, mentally, emotionally, definitely spiritually, I'm just gonna probably ignore you. You can take that whatever way you want to. I don't have the time. It makes my head hurt, the thought of trying to explain stuff to somebody who is not of the capacity nor will to understand. Doc, that's arrogant. No, it's honest. It's just honest. I got so much love. Me and the kids said it earlier. We're in DC this weekend. I don't know. I stopped at least 10, 15 people. I don't know. And everybody was so kind. One lady in the airport at DCA, we had just made it through security screening, and we were trying to hurry up and catch our flight. And the lady called me out and said, "Sir, sir, sir." And I looked, and she said, "Oh my God, you're Dr. Talon." Just threw her arms around me, and I hugged her. And she was just so sweet and kind. And she was just remarking at how shocked I was, nice in person. A lot of people don't be the same offline. But very nice guy. But the reality is, what we can't do is think that everybody's on the same level and doing the same amount of work that you're doing. And this is important. When you recognize that there's levels to this work, then you grow a healthy relationship with feedback. And many of us are not growing because we do not have a healthy relationship with feedback. Doc, why is it so hard when I work with you? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to let you cry. I'm going to let you vent. I'm going to let you tell me about the back. I'm going to let you get it out. But when you finish, I'm going to tell you the truth. Thank you, Betty. I appreciate you. Now, many of you are saying, well, Doc, isn't that normal? No, not really. A lot of people think therapy, counseling, coaching is just for you to sit on the couch, smoke a cigarette, and just tell me what you think about me. Or what you think, or just, give me a summary of your life. And me just sit here and just, oh, really? How did that make you feel? It's part of it. But for all intents and purposes, you can stand in front of your camera, cut it on, and do that by yourself. My job is to help you live a better life. So people struggle in this space because they have an unhealthy relationship with feedback. You want to grow? Develop a healthy relationship with feedback. You want to mature? Develop a healthy relationship with feedback. And this is the problem. For many of you, nobody can tell you anything. This is wrong with this culture. Can't tell you nothing. Cannot tell you anything. And many of you go to some of these mansy-pansy therapists, counselors, and coaches who are not going to tell you the truth. And you think you're doing the work because you've seen someone. No, you're just talking to somebody. That ain't doing the work. Talking to somebody is not doing the work. You know what doing the work is? For those of you that care to know, doing the work is taking honest feedback, making adjustments, and applying it to your life. Doing the work is not going to see a counselor. Doing the work is not going to see a therapist. That's not doing the work. I don't care what nobody told you. That ain't doing the work. Doing the work is taking feedback and applying it to your life. And until you develop a healthy relationship with feedback, you're not going to grow. And it's important because my father, who happens to not only been my pastor, but he was my ninth grade world geography coach and my seventh and eighth grade basketball coach and my 11th through 17 and under AAU basketball coach and ninth through 12th grade track coach. And he was over the gospel choir when I played keys and different music instruments, organs, drums, bass, all kinds of stuff. He was all of this stuff. He was my biggest fan. He was my biggest critic. Biggest fan, biggest critic. And social media is proof that most of you only like fans and you hate critics. And I'm not talking about every critic, because again, go back to the intro. Some people criticize and they don't need to say nothing. I'm talking about when you're getting the right feedback from the right people. Because I'm going to make this plain. Y'all ain't going to like this, but watch this. You ready? Your inability to receive feedback explains a lot of your life challenges. I told a client this last week, and I'm going to tell some of you. A lot of your life challenges is connected right now to your inability to receive feedback. I'm talking about credible feedback, not from some of these birds that just be talking because they got a social media account. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about legitimate feedback. There's a whole lot of life challenges many of you are going through because of your inability to receive feedback. Your inability to receive feedback is the reason why many of you are single. The reason why many of you are single right now is because you can't take feedback. And so when you date or engage someone who is as strong or stronger than you, their feedback to you feels like criticism. When really it's just feedback, but you're not used to it because all you deal with are birds. Your inability to receive feedback is the reason why many of you are not promoted. It's the reason why many of you have not been promoted on your job in many years. Not because you're not good, not because you don't know what you're doing, but because you hate annual reviews. You hate being challenged to change and do something different. This is the can't nobody tell me nothing generation. And this is why a lot of you are loud and wrong. Thought I'd get loud like y'all. Loud and wrong. Because you don't like feedback. Many of you hate to be challenged. You hate to get feedback. I'll tell you something else that many of you, the reason why something else is struggling in your life because of your inability to take feedback. Many of you are friendless. You struggle with making friends. You have low quality relationships. You know why? Because people of quality don't want to deal with nobody. They can't be told nothing. Well, no, doc, you know how it is. Girls just don't like women. Women just don't like women, doc. I ain't got no women friends. All my friends are men. You sure it's just because women don't like women? I know a whole lot of women that like women. Everybody ain't mad at everybody. Some of y'all ain't got no friends because you can't take feedback. Some of you ain't got friends because you can't take feedback or hear any type of response that's different than what you believe. I think one of the things that makes my work so impactful, one of the reasons why I love doing my work the way I do, because when you got clients in 32 countries and you deal with people from almost every culture, religious, ethnic background you can think of, You have to be more versed. You have to be versed in more things than just what you think and what you believe. And the reality is, many of you, your ceiling is only as high as your willingness to take feedback. It is the extent to which you are able to take feedback that will measure your ceiling. So, if you want something spectacular, spectacular relationships, spectacular careers, spectacular businesses, you got to get around people who challenge you in a spectacular way. And if you want average stuff, continue to hang with the average birds that you hang with. I had a really good conversation. Good client of mine. She said I could share this. So I told her I might do this live this week. Good conversation with her. And was sharing with her. Very successful, great career, um, makes a great living, um, has no children, mid 30s, really smart, beautiful woman, all of these things. And we've really been diving into her challenges as it relates to healing herself mentally and emotionally, and the impact that's had on her dating history. And as she was sharing these things with me, we noticed a pattern. Because I asked her a simple question. I said, have you ever dated a man that challenged you in a positive way? She said, yes. I said, how did that go? She said, Doc, it didn't last. Why? She said, because for the most part, we were always butting heads. I had a hard time receiving what he would say. He had a hard time receiving from me. I said, and how did your successful relationships go? She said, these were typically people who needed me. She literally admitted that. I typically dated men who needed me. I was the missing piece in their life. I was mostly the best that they had ever had. I was their prized possession. I said, so you dated down. She said, I guess I didn't look at it that way. Maybe so. I said, so in dating down, the level of feedback or criticism you received wasn't really that heavy because you had way more to give than they did, correct? She said, yeah. I said, but the minute you went up and you were challenged, what happened? She said, I never looked at it that way, but I guess that's when it all fell apart. I said, you're like a lot of people. A lot of you have baloney level relationships because dating steak is too hard. Oh, Ashley Ray. Ashley Ray, you're not the only one. I appreciate your honesty, my friend. A lot of you got baloney low and you smiling like it's the best thing since oh my God, Doc, look at my baloney. My baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. You just bragging. You just so happy. You got these baloney relationships and you smiling. But the reality is that's more manageable for many of you. Steak level require more maintenance. Some feet. See, here's the thing. When you dating on the steak level, you ain't gonna just be able to talk to them any kind of way. When you dating on the steak level, now y'all can get in wherever way you want to get in. I'm talking about levels here. Because there is a level called, I ain't gonna just chew bologna. If I can't have steak, I just won't eat. Any of you on the level that I'm on, are any of you on the level that I'm on where you can honestly say, If it ain't steak, you don't want nothing. No, literally, many of you will chew bologna just to say you got something. Many of you will literally chew bologna just to say you got something. Then there are many of us that say, you know what? I'd rather starve than eat that. Now, I want to say this because I saw a really good question on TikTok. Thank you so much, TikTok. Y'all like the video. Great question. If you're dating up, though, doesn't that come with the feeling of I'm not enough for them or unworthy? Absolutely not. Because, and this is important when we deal with hypergamy. I don't want to turn this into a show about hypergamy tonight, but let me just go here since you asked. When it comes to hypergamy and the idea that a woman wants to date a man she looks up to, a healed man will never make a woman feel unworthy because he's showing up as the version of himself he's supposed to be. In other words, when a man is showing up the way he's supposed to be showing up, she should be able to look up to him, but he should be strong enough to be what she needs to look up to and humble enough to be something that she can hold on to. Strong enough to look up to, healed enough for someone she can hold on to. That was salad worthy. You see where a lot of you women are messing up is you are dating men that are toxic masculine. They strong. They got some success. They got a little bit of money. Here's the problem. They don't know how to talk to you. And they think they can talk to you any kind of way because they have those things. And that's the difference between being masculine, toxic masculine, and healed masculine. I did a video. One of the best videos I did was on a horse and talking about women don't like bulls, they like horses. Go find it. It's on my IG. It's on TikTok. It's on all my networks. And a lady reeled it this week and tagged me. It was a really good reel she did talking about it. It was one of the most powerful videos that I did because the reality is if you know anything about horses, horses are strong enough to kill you. A horse can run over you and kill you and take your life. It's like a car hitting you. Here's the problem. Horses, while they are strong enough to kill you, are also graceful enough to recognize that when you are nearby, unless you try to harm them, when you are nearby, they are graceful enough to be gentle enough for you to be able to handle them. And that's what healed masculinity looks like. Healed masculinity says, I'm strong enough to shut down everything if I need to, but healed enough to be graceful to not destroy you in the process. Again, that stuff ain't for everybody. There's levels to this stuff. It's levels. Some of y'all baloney, and you will always be baloney. There's levels to this. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is why many of you are struggling because you have an unhealthy relationship with feedback. And when you develop a healthy relationship with feedback, it does something as a byproduct. Record this. Record this. Critical feedback from good sources builds immunity to feedback from bad sources. I want to explain it. Critical feedback from good sources builds immunity to feedback from bad sources. Big time, Oscar Andre, I swear. I swear, man, it's wild out here. Critical feedback from good sources builds immunity to feedback from bad sources. Let me tell you something. Some of the best feedback I get from my clients. Doc, you really broke me down. We started working together, and you had me thinking about stuff in ways I never thought about. Blah 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 blah. Really broke me down. I really had to get myself together. But now, when people give me feedback, and the feedback might sound harsh or tough, I'm immune to it because I know what feedback from a good source looks like. See, when you are familiar with feedback from a good source, then when the comment section, what's the comment section, Doc? It's the people on the sidelines that's saying whatever they got to say about you and your life. When the comment section starts talking, it is your feedback from good sources that builds immunity from feedback from bad sources. I'll put it to you simple. My father, my mom were my greatest critics. Nobody, listen, we got grounded for B's, not D as in dog, B as in boy. Okay. My father's Phi Theta Kappa, 3 B's in college all his life, PhD, Virginia Tech. Listen, nobody criticized us and gave us feedback harder than our parents. So when you get out here and you got to deal with feedback and criticism from birds, that stuff don't mean nothing to you. Which is why it's never been hard for me to choose me. You ready? Drum roll, put it in the comments. Because when you get comfortable with feedback, it's easy to choose you. Record it. Hurry. When you get comfortable with feedback, it's easy to choose you. And many of you are struggling with choosing you because you have a hard time with feedback. Oh, but when you used to feedback, when you know what it's like to be criticized, it's easy to choose you. It's easy to walk away from stuff. It's easy to walk away, if necessary, from people. Some of you don't even realize that some of the stuff you can't walk away from is a reflection of the fact that you never really had solid feedback in your life. This is a great revelation for a client last week who realized that the reason why she's struggling to really walk away from things is because she's never been positioned in a place where she's received genuine, sincere feedback. And when you've never really received genuine or sincere feedback, it's hard to walk away. When you have, when you've been told when things are great, you've been told when your stuff stinks, when you've been told you're wonderful and when you've been told you could do better, you don't have a hard time staying or leaving spaces that don't serve you. You hit me with some good questions on TikTok. Really good questions. Same person. What if they're dating up and you're the up? I mean, you can be the up, but I'm assuming you're a woman. It's probably flawed from the start. Because most women that want hypergamy, that desire hypergamy, absolutely do not want to be the person that their man is looking up to. They don't want that kind of stress. I can't turn this into that kind of show tonight because I swear I could talk about that for an hour. And this is why many of you just really have sons. You're stuck with sons. You have your own children, and then your man is your other son. Because he's looking up to you. And what makes that even crazier is while he's looking up to you, he then turns around and tells you he's the leader. How? How's he the leader and you're looking and he's looking up to you, ladies? What is he leading? I don't. But y'all fall for this. You know why? Because for many of you, a piece of bologna is better than nothing at all. Not me. I'd rather starve. I would rather starve and wait on a nice piece of steak than to be walking around here with baloney, running my blood pressure up. And many of you do it. Many of you do it, ladies. It's one of the big reasons why I'm in business. Y'all, I know it's not everybody, but a lot of women do this. And this is why you are at a place where you cannot walk away from people or situations that don't serve you because you've never heard this kind of feedback. Sis, that ain't a man, that's a piece of baloney. Sis, that's not your man, that's your son. You might as well file him on your taxes as a dependent. You might as well file him on your taxes as a dependent and get child care dependent credits. I'm just, you might as well. And some of you raggedy, some of you women just absolutely refuse to be honest about the fact that there's levels in this. Well, Doc, nobody's perfect. Doc. I'm not expecting anybody to be perfect. I'm not expecting anybody to be perfect. But let me tell you something. And let me tell you something serious. You ready? I never have ever seen a piece of bologna convert itself to steak. Not once. Not once. I never seen a piece of bologna, if you just put it in the refrigerator, just morph into a piece of steak. You can fry it. You can make it black and put some mustard on it and make a bologna whopper. You can put lettuce and tomato on it. You can do all that stuff and it'll never be steak. Well, Doc, my man can't be steak all the time. Then he's just bologna. The steak don't turn to bologna, and bologna don't turn to steak. But what, Doc? My woman can't be steak all the time. Sometimes she bologna. Well, then she just bologna. Because this go both ways. Y'all do know I'm equal opportunity, right? Fellas, I hate to break the news to you. If she bologna, she ain't steak. This is why many of you are staying in situations that don't serve you because nobody's looked you in your face and told you this. Nobody's looked you in your face and challenged you to be so very clear about what it is that you have. Now, again, I was laughing at my kids, my bougie kids. They got on the subway for the first time this weekend. And I'm just laughing thinking about them. And my kids are just so wild. So good kids, great kids, great grades, great manner, all of that stuff, of course. But I was just laughing because we were out somewhere and they the place that they wanted to Uber Eats their food from when we got back to the Airbnb had closed. And I was like, well, y'all in trouble. Y'all ain't gonna, be able to get what you want. I said, well, I'm scrolling down DoorDash and and there was a certain fast food restaurant on there. And I said, y'all can have that. They said, oh no, we're not eating that. We're not. I said, why not? I said, no, Daddy, we ain't. Well. I said, well, y'all used to like it. I said, yeah, Daddy. I mean, every kid used to like it when they're kids. But we growing up now. This is the profound thing that my 10 and 11-year-old baby said to me. We're grown up now. And when you grow up, you don't have the same taste for the same things. Let me say that slow. When you grow up, you don't have the same taste for the same things. And ain't it crazy out here how many of you are in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and some of y'all 60s, and you have the taste buds of a 5-year-old talking about sometimes you got to eat bologna? Knock yourself out. They 10 and 11 and old enough to recognize that when you grow up, your taste buds ought to grow up too. Oh, that was salad worthy. When you grow up, your taste buds ought to grow up too. And this is how I know some of y'all ain't healed, because you are 25 and got 12-year-old taste buds. Keith, you nailed it. Keith said that's because you started them steak stand dessert. You better believe it. Remember when the pandemic hit, everybody was inside? I took them to Roots Chris for the first time. I took them to Roots Chris for the first time. I think they were like 6 and 7. What did I do that for? What did I do that for? Took them to Roots Chris, and what did I do that for? Because ever since that time, it's kind of hard to force feed them golden arches. That ain't no knock on nobody that eat gold that like the golden arches. If that's what you like, go for it. Bye. That's not no knock on it. Y'all better catch the higher revelation. But when you grow up, your taste buds ought to grow. Now, I get it, because it's another really good question. So if you marry, well then, Doc, what about if you marry and you realize you got baloney? We supposed to just leave them? I'm not telling you to leave your baloney. You signed up for that. But what I am telling you what to do, this is salad worthy because my stomach growling. Y'all ain't supporting the show. If you married a piece of bologna and you realize that you got bologna, you don't need to do the best you can to dress that bologna up. When I was kids, they used to call these bologna. They used to call the sandwiches we ate bologna whoppers. Y'all know what a bologna whopper is? You burn the bologna, put some mustard on it, some cheese, melt the cheese on it with lettuce, tomato, a little bit of salt and pepper. That's about the best I can give you. But where many of you mess up, if I'm being honest, is you expect that bologna to be steak and it ain't. And you get mad at them. Hey, why aren't you? Because it's bologna. Why are you fussing at bologna for being bologna? But let me tell you something. When you settle for bologna, your life is going to reflect what you settle for. Somebody really needs to hear this. That when you settle for bologna, your life is going to reflect the bologna that you settle for. And I don't care if you put a dress on bologna. I don't care if you put red bottoms on bologna. I don't care if you put a suit on bologna. I don't care what you put on bologna. Bologna gonna always be bologna and have that little red piece of thing around it. I mean, that's all I can tell you. It's gonna always be bologna, and if you eat too much bologna, over time, that bologna gonna make you sick. So you're gonna have to get to a place where you decide, am I gonna keep eating bologna? Or am I gonna ditch the bologna for something greater? especially if that baloney is dead set on being baloney. You got baloney in your life, this is the best thing your baloney can do. Jump in the trash can. The best thing that baloney can do in your life is jump in the trash can and try to transform itself and work on becoming steak. I mean, literally throw the old version of them away and heal mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially. And if they ain't willing to do that, you're going to be stuck with baloney. A baloney whopper at best. Dressed up, but still running up your blood pressure. Dressed up, but still driving you crazy. I know. Y'all, when you do the work and put in the work, if I'm being honest, one of the things I realized when I got serious about my diet and exercise some 20 years ago, when I'm on my diet and exercise and I'm strict on my diet Monday through Friday, and I cheat half day Saturday and I'll cheat half day Sunday. So half day Saturday, half day Sunday, I eat whatever I want to eat. One of the things that I noticed though, that when you're really good on your diet and you've changed your appetite for the things that you enjoy, you can try to go back and eat the stuff that you normally eat, but that stuff makes you sick as a dog. It makes you sick as a dog. You can't eat as much as you used to eat. You get full real quick. You know why? Because your body gets used to the new standard that you set for it. And some of you struggling because you ain't got no new standards. Some of you struggling because the standards you got are baloney level standards. I'm telling you, if you start eating something different for a little while, it's going to be hard for you to go back to what you used to, which is why doing this kind of work, healing in those 5 areas, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, it's a risk because it's hard to unhear this stuff and then go home and hang out with Oscar. He or she. It's hard to go back to Oscar when you didn't heard this stuff. You can't unhear it. Let's talk about what makes feedback digestible. Is this making sense? Come on, fill it up with hearts. I need you to like the video. Come on, TikTok. We got 30,000 likes. Let's get this number up to 700. We're close. We're right around just over 4, right under 5. Let's get this number up to 700 tonight on a Monday. This making sense? Y'all, critical feedback from good sources build immunity. And so when you get comfortable with feedback, it's easy to choose you. You've heard it all. You know right from wrong, acceptable from unacceptable. And I'm going to just give y'all a blueprint real quick. When it comes to feedback, who talks is always more important than what's being said. Will y'all record that? Who talks is always more important than what's being said. Y'all so busy paying attention to who talking, who's providing feedback, instead of paying attention to who's saying it. Y'all, credibility matters. Credibility matters. And I'm talking about earned credibility. I'm not talking about credibility just based off of fame or likes. Let me tell you something. I've met famous people from all walks of life, all industries, and there's nothing more disappointing than to meet somebody who's famous that you would think they were famous for something of substance, and they're not. It's just a popularity contest. Some people just not the same offline. And some of us are better. So status doesn't equal credibility. Just because people know you doesn't equal credibility. Just because you have money doesn't equal credibility. Just because you're known doesn't mean credibility. Right? We're going to talk about what makes feedback creditable. Credible. Ooh, creditable. Ooh, credible. We're going to talk about what makes feedback credible. We ain't got nothing to do with status and money. But you better know this: who talks is always more important than what's being said. Who talks is always more important than what's being said. So, what makes feedback digestible? Then, Doc, what kind of feedback is digestible? I'll give you three types. Let me give you three types of feedback that's credible, that's digestible. You ready? Type number one: competent feedback. Competent feedback. Do they know what they're talking about? Not no 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 not feedback just because it's somebody you like. No, you can like somebody and they not know what they're talking about. This ain't a popularity contest. Competent feedback. Is the feedback they're providing you competent? And don't base their competency on whether or not they're some kin to you or how much you like them. Are they competent? Because a lot of you are making competence. Many of you are making competence a popularity contest. Competence is not a popularity contest. There's a lot of famous dumb people that's walking around here. That don't mean nothing. There are a lot of well-known, viral, incompetent people walking around here. That don't mean nothing. Okay? So competence matters. Number two, second thing that makes feedback digestible. Y'all not supporting the show. Support the show. Come on. Hurry. Support it. A second thing that makes competence or feedback digestible, y'all will like this: sincerity and love. Sincerity and love. If you're getting feedback from somebody and they're being sincere, I mean, they're really being truthfully honest from their inward parts about what they're sharing with you, you better hold on to that feedback. I didn't ask you whether or not you liked it. That's not going to make the list. Feedback is not about what you like. Feedback is about what you need. Thank you. Somebody just supported the show. Feedback ain't about what you like. It's about what you need. If somebody's giving you feedback with sincerity, meaning honesty from inside of them, and love, it's coming from a place of really wanting you to be better, you better hold on to that. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate you. You better hold on to it. You can digest feedback that comes from a place of sincerity and love. You might not even like what they're saying. This is why, you know, Jesus. Um, um, I had a situation one time. This is a long time ago. I had a situation one time when I was working one of my higher ed jobs. I had a situation where I was out and I had somebody else filling in for me on a team that I was leading. I was appointed to lead, and I remember this team was a very special team. They were a team of people that many people on this particular campus thought was very difficult to work with, manage. And I kind of sort of I was starting to build a reputation of being a fixer. Just based on some roles I had taken, things like that. And so this team had a very unique dynamic. I was brought in and got the team moving in the direction it needed to go. And but this team required a lot of what I would call tough love, right? Where I really had to tell them, lay some firm boundaries, set some firm expectations. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. This is what it is. Excuse me. Excuse me again. This is what it is. This is what it's not going to be, etc. Had to lay those very firm boundaries. And the team had gotten used to working with me and working by that standard that I had set. Well, I had somebody come in. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are so kind. All the bless yous. I appreciate you. I had somebody come in and they had seen my work and they attempted to try to lead the team the way I did. And I think I was traveling somewhere for a training, or I was on a trip for work or something. And they tried to come in and lead this team the same way that I did. And a fight about throughout a fight almost broke out between three of them on this team as a result of this attempted leadership. What's the point? You can even love people and give people feedback in a tough way. And if people really know you care about them, they are more likely to listen to you than if they sense for 1 second you really don't care about them according to the stuff you're saying to them. Y'all, tough love cannot happen without sincerity. Some of y'all gonna get beat up. So, some of y'all gonna get beat up trying to give people tough love because at your core, you don't even really mean it like that. And people can tell when you really don't mean the love you claim to be meaning when you're trying to give it out. You gotta be sincere with that. Now, I'm telling you, my clients are always taken aback at how brutally honest I am with them. I don't waste time. Like, you're gonna get your money's worth, you're gonna see some results fast. We're gonna get you there, get you to a place of healing, and we're gonna go and grow on. But I've yet to hear a person come to me and say, Doc, this was a hard talk, and I feel like you disrespected me. Not one time. Doc, what you said was hard, and it's clear you don't care about me. Not one time. Because sincerity and love are things that people can feel. Y'all, even a kid can tell when grown-ups care about them and when they don't. Even a kid can tell when grown-ups want to be involved with them and when they don't. You can feel that. So feedback that is digestible is also feedback that's sincere. It's feedback that's grounded in love. Topo Chico time. Wow, time is rolling. Is this making sense? Unofficial sponsor of our lives, Topo Chico. Woo, I gotta find me some on this beach in a couple of days. I'm so excited. I don't know what to do with myself. Got to find me some Topo Chico on the beach. Woo, Doc is at vacation mode. I can't wait. So what makes feedback digestible? Competent feedback. Feedback that's grounded in sincerity and love. Here's the third one. Feedback with solid motives. feedback with solid motives. It is easier for us to process what you gotta say when your motives are sincere. Feedback without solid motives will most likely hit deaf ears. Which is why when you see feedback or receive feedback from sources in your life's comment section that don't come with solid motives, why would you allow that to break you down? If somebody in your life's comment section provides you feedback that isn't competent, why would you allow that to break you down? If somebody in your life circle provides you feedback that is not sincere and grounded in love, why would you let that break you down? I'll tell you why. Because the same people who get shook by the opinions of others, the same people who struggle with choosing themselves, are also the same people, watch, who have a problem seeking their own internal validation. And this is where I'm going to spend the final 15 minutes talking about. Internal validation. Uh-oh. The cure to managing feedback well is internal validation. Record it. Come on, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler, y'all. All week long until I see you next Thursday. The cure to managing feedback well is internal validation. Just about to get bad. We got 15 minutes. It's going to get ugly. Support the show. You have to arrive at a place where your validation starts on the inside before it matters on the outside. You've got to arrive at a place where your validation starts on the inside more than it matters on the outside. This is where a lot of people are struggling. If I'm just going to keep it honest with you, a lot of people are struggling because many of you, your validation starts on the outside and you try to fix it on the inside, and you're not. It's got to start on the inside so that validation that comes from the outside is just a bonus. Listen, the easiest way I can put this is that when people tell you you look nice, that's great. But it's a bonus if you already know you look nice. When people compliment you on something you've done well, that's great. But compliments are just bonuses when you give yourself those same compliments and you already know. I have women, female friends who tell me all the time, who have me cracking up, be like, Doc, oh my God, I met this guy. He spent the first 5-6 minutes telling me how beautiful I was. And one of my friends, she said, and she's a big attorney. She said, and I finally just stopped him and said, well, I mean, everything you told me the last 6 minutes, I already know. What else? I mean, what else can we talk about? And he was taken aback. You know why? Because he had finally met somebody who didn't need his validation. And people will feel some kind of way when they're used to being the person or the people who always provide validation when they run into someone who doesn't need their validation. Y'all, you're going to know you healing for real. When the validation people give you is complimentary and not mandatory. You're going to know you're healing and growing when the validation people give you is complimentary and not mandatory. And many of you are living in this space where all of your validation that you receive from people is mandatory. You feel like you got to have it. And when you are at that place, you have an unhealthy relationship with feedback. Wow. I'm going to hit y'all hard the next session. I'm not done. I'm going to just give y'all a preview on this. Because I'll tell you this, and I'm going to talk about this in 2 weeks. This need for external validation can also create something called neediness. Oh, God. I'm going to hit y'all with this in 2 weeks. It can create this thing called neediness, where you find yourself living a life where you become so reliant on people outside of you validating you that you become needy in the process. And guess what neediness creates? Resentment. There's a lot of people, many of you right now, are starting and growing to resent, not because you are a mean person, not because you're a bad person, but because their neediness has literally left you exhausted. Wait till I teach that in 2 weeks. People will exhaust you with their neediness. It'll exhaust you. And there's a fine line between having expectations and being needy. And I'm going to explain all of that in 2 weeks. There's a fine line between having expectations and being needy. And many of you are calling neediness expectations. And it ain't expectations, it's neediness. You know why? Oh, I can't give you that because then you won't have a reason to tune in 2 weeks. But there's an easy factor to be able to differentiate the difference between expectations and neediness. Expectations are realistic, like goals. But when you needy, there is nothing realistic about being needy. Is this making sense? Listen, how you feel about you should always be greater than anybody else's thoughts about you. I want to explain this really quickly. How you feel about you, how you feel about you should always be greater than anybody else's thoughts about you. And I want to be very clear here. If many of you are staying with folks that don't meet your expectations over and over and over again, that makes you needy. That's a you problem. What is wrong with y'all? That's a you problem. Well, Doc, if they met my needs, I wouldn't be needy. And if they met my expectations, I wouldn't be needy. Then why don't you leave? Why do you continue to tolerate people not meeting your expectations and then want us to feel bad for you because you need it? No, leave. Not here. Not here. Because people typically in that space also have poor boundaries, which is why I say how you feel about you should always be greater than anybody else's thoughts about you. Now, we got just under 500 people on this live tonight on all the networks. And let me tell you something. You got to get to a place where you feel greater about you than anybody else can ever feel about you, which is why I continue to tell people in this space, y'all, the reason why the comment section shouldn't bother you. What's the comment section? Again, for the fifth or sixth time. The comment section is all of the noise outside of you that tries to influence how you function, how you operate. You have to get to a place where what you think about you is always greater than anything that anybody else can feel about you. Why? Because we heal for us. We work on ourselves for us. We grow, we develop for us. We mature for us. We change for us. No, you do not change for your partner. Doc, you're losing it. No, I'm not. You do not change for your partner. You do not change for your wife. No. Doc, you're losing it. No, I'm not. You do not change for your husband. Levels, y'all. Levels. You do not change for anybody but yourself. Change for your husband. You might walk out the house and get hit by a car. What you gonna do? Change for your wife. She might leave you and go be with somebody else. What you gonna do? You don't change for nobody but yourself. And many of you are exhausted by the comment section because you're changing for everybody else but you. You're changing for everybody else but you. And that is not something we can afford to do. Is this making sense? Let me take it a step further why this is something we got to consider. Why I call tonight's live the audacity of the comment section. Because if you know, I've had a lot of people pleasers who say to me, Doc, I really want to leave this situation, I want to get out of this situation, I want to move beyond this situation, whatever the situation is, but I'm really struggling in my mind with how people are going to respond. What is my family going to say? What are my friends going to say? What are my church members going to say? Blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. What are all these people going to say? And let me tell you something. The number one response or challenge of people pleasers is the response. It's the response. The number one barrier for many of you when it comes to empowering your life and doing what is necessary for you to live your best life, you are more worried about the response to your decision than you are almost anything in your life. I've seen this thousands of times. Doc, I would do this, but the people will, whatever. I would do this, but this. They're going to say this. They're going to do this. They're going to respond this way. And that kind of perspective will keep you broke. It will keep you single. It will keep you in bad relationships. It will keep you miserable. It will keep you where you are. Many of you are pausing healthy decisions in fear of a response. Many of you are pausing healthy decisions you ought to be making for your life in fear of the response. How are people going to respond to me choosing me after most of my life I never chose me? How are people in my life going to respond to me choosing healthy connections when I've spent much of my life staying in bad connections? And you cannot let the fear of people's response keep you paralyzed. I'm excited. I'm even breaking my vacation on the 27th. I'm doing 2 purpose group works in July. Y'all better sign up. 2 purpose group works in July. July 13th, how to find your purpose. July 27th, executing your purpose or vision without a playbook. It's really for creatives and people that are called to do different things, or really want to do something that's very out of the ordinary, but they don't have a playbook. They don't have a manual. They don't have a guide. Let me tell you something. I love talking about that kind of stuff. It's my kind of carrying on. Because the reality is, it takes trailblazer like courage to worry less about a response and to be more in favor of healthy decisions for your life. Healthy decisions are always more favorable than the response of people. Now, I'm not talking about crazy decisions, because if you're out here weighing whether or not you should make a crazy decision, then I understand why you're afraid. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about if you are weighing solid decisions, solid, good, healthy decisions, decisions that put you in positions that are healthier than where you are right now. And the thing that's keeping you from pulling the proverbial trigger is people's response. You've got to grow beyond that. And I know it's hard for this generation. You know why? Because this generation does everything for a response. This generation does everything for a response. You date people for a response. You literally date people for a response. You date people that you think other people might think you look good with. That's called dating for a response. Where's my favorite sound? Where is it at? There it is. Many of you post pictures for a response. You post status messages for a response. If you post that picture and it's been up for 6 hours and you got 20 likes, you don't have enough. What do? You take it down because you're posting for a response. This is the generation we live in. Some of you say and do things on social media just to go viral. Why? Because you want a response. And you know what that response is? That response is a desperate cry for attention. And attention that is rooted in a response is nothing more than external validation. And what makes this so very detrimental to your growth and your healing journey is because when you start doing things for a response or external validation, that means you're not doing it because you really mean it. that means then you're not being authentic. And guess what? When you're not being authentic, you're being fake. And there are a lot of people saying things just to go viral, but they're being fake. There are a lot of people posting things just to post it, but they're being fake. I had to tell a mentee. I had to tell a mentee a couple of weeks ago. I had to tell a mentee a couple of weeks ago who has a really good opportunity to do some great work in what he wants to do. And I told him he needs to continue to develop his knowledge base first before he gets out here and tries to post videos and do all of this stuff and offer this and do all this stuff. And I think he got a little bit frustrated because he felt like I was slowing him down. But I said, no, you just need to really build your competence base because everybody out here and their mama's trying to sell everything from oat milk to bracelets to give me 30 days and I'll change your life. Everybody out here selling something. But when you don't have a competence base, for real, and I'm being honest with you, when you don't have a competence base or your work is not, or who you are is not based in competence and authenticity, we can even see you on the internet and tell whether or not you really mean what you say. I mean, we can literally look at you on the internet and tell you mean what you say and what you don't. Even your delivery in the stuff you share is going to feel inauthentic. And people are doing this for likes. He told me straight up, Doc, I want to quit my job, man. I want to just work full time, just trying to help and empower people. Why don't you build a knowledge base first? So when you get out here trying to do this stuff, people can really receive your message because they can receive your authenticity. Does this make sense? I mean, this generation literally does everything for a response. I want to say this finally, and I'm done. Y'all support the video. Last thing I want to tell you is this. It is not healthy to avoid, to delay, or ignore decisions that are healthy because of a response. It is not healthy to avoid, to delay, or even ignore decisions that are healthy because of a response. Which means if you know it is healthier for you to move on and do something better and do the right thing, you're better off doing that and living with the response than to avoid making that decision in fear of how people might respond. Because here's the reality. When you learn how to choose you in a healthy way, everything around you starts falling in place. Some of us are winning not because we've been perfect. Some of us are winning not because we've always done all the right things and always had everything fall in place for us. Some of us are winning because we have often, from a very authentic way, and with a very authentic approach, we've always chosen ourselves in a healthy way. And when you choose you in a healthy way, stuff got to work out for you. There's a whole lot of people that's faking and losing because they choosing everything but who they are. Yeah. Faking and losing at the same time because they're choosing everything but who they are. When you choose you in an authentic way, you can't lose. Does it take longer for you to quote unquote win? Yeah. It might take longer for people to recognize you. So what? It might take people longer for people to acknowledge your wins. So what? Here's the thing. When you really authentically choose you in a healthy way, not only are you going to win, but when you win, nobody can take it from you. Nobody can take it from you. Lady hugged my neck in Tyson's Corner in DC. Hugged my neck. Oh my God, Dr. Zeb, it's so nice to meet you. My kids were right there. They were so embarrassed because the lady said she was about to cry. She was such a sweet lady. Hugged my neck. Um, and she said, "You wear that hat everywhere." I said, "Yeah, this is who I am." This is who I am. I decided to choose me instead of choosing people's idea of me. And when you choose you, eventually you're going to win. People build, you build effective brands when you choose you. You have better relationships when you choose you. You have solid friendships and connections when you learn how to choose you. I'm talking about in a healthy way, not in a toxic way. You have more stability in your life in general when you learn how to choose you. Is it popular? No, but you can't lose. I've been winning for a long time because I made a conscious decision one day. You know what? I think I'm gonna choose me. Does this make sense? Hmm? Now, I want to say this quickly. Everybody's not gonna like the idea. And so I don't have this in my notes, but I say this quickly. Everybody's not gonna like the idea of you choosing you. That doesn't make everybody comfortable, which means if you're gonna choose you, you got to get comfortable with people not always liking you. You got to get comfortable with people not always liking you. You got to get comfortable with people not always understanding you. You got to get comfortable with all those things. And I mean, sincerely comfortable. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't mind people not liking me. Then you go home and you cry yourself to sleep. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sincerely comfortable with people not liking you and understanding you. You got to get sincerely comfortable with that. And when you do, life gets a little bit sweeter. You don't waste a lot of time explaining yourself because the people that love you don't really need a lot of explanations. They might require some, they don't need a lot of explanations. They need explanations to know what's going on, not to be in your business. It's two totally different things. Did y'all hear what I said? People, people who are in your life who really love you need explanations to know what's going on, not to be in your business. Does that make sense? So you got to be okay with people not understanding you, people misunderstanding you. And when you get to that place, y'all, it's going to be easy for you to choose you. You'll have less fear when it comes down to people's response to you, and you'll have more confidence when it comes down to you choosing you and what that looks like. And that's what I want for y'all. This makes sense, y'all? Huh? Fill it up with hearts. This makes sense tonight? I hope it did. Fill it up with hearts if it did. I'm going to leave this up because, like I said, I'm not going live Thursday. I won't be live next Monday. I'll be live again next Thursday. So whatever date that is. 4, the 11th. I'll be live again on the 11th. Yeah. And it'll be a big live. So I won't be live again until the 11th. Going on a little holiday, one of a few this summer, and I'm excited about this rest. I'm only working about 4 or 5 days this month, and My calendar will be opening real soon. So let me just give you some announcements really quickly. I hope this is helpful. Support the show. You see the ways to support the show? I need everybody to do this right away. Yep, I appreciate you, Coach Sean. I'm going to be checking those out on the plane Wednesday morning. I appreciate you, brother. I have not forgotten you. Yeah. Let me mention some things really quickly. Support the show. You see the ways to support on the screen. Do that. July's Purpose Month, July the 13th. Finding your purpose. If you're struggling with figuring out what your purpose is, I'm going to help you with that. July the 13th. July the 27th. Executing a vision without a playbook. Got an idea of something that you have been challenged to do or be or become, but it is so unique that you don't have a playbook. How do you do that? This is where authenticity, finding your lane or crafting a lane comes into play. It's not for the weak. It's not for people who want to be like everybody else. So that workshop on the 27th, I'm actually going to be on a holiday. I'm going to pause my holiday to do that workshop on the 27th because it's that important, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. Subscribe to Patreon or IG, and here's why. Because my books, thank you, Veronica, for your support. My book, my calendar for new clients is going to open up, and it's going to open up this way. On July the 10th, it's going to open up for subscribers. I'm opening it up to subscribers first. Y'all, subscribers are people that have been supporting me for some time on Patreon or IG subscribe. And so if you want to go ahead and sign up as a subscriber there, you might want to do so because I'm going to open up my calendar for new clients on July the 10th for subscribers first. And then on July the 16th for the general public. This is more likely than not the last time I will open my books for the rest of the year. All right, for the rest of the year, because they really fill up really, really quickly. And I'm going to space it out. I will have individual sessions available for individuals and couples in a lot of packages because that's very, very, very popular for those of you that want to do some continual work, where you will be able to go ahead and book out in advance and have your schedule set, have our schedule set together. So that's July the 10th. I'm opening up my calendar for new clients for subscribers. July the 16th, I'm opening my calendar up for new clients for the general public. So set your alarms for both of those days. The last time I did this, those sessions were filled up in 2.5 hours. So it went by really, 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 really quickly. And so I'm expecting probably the same here when this comes up. Okay. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all very much. I hope you have a tremendous evening. Have a fantastic week this week. Fantastic week next week. I'll probably do a little bit of content this week and next week. I'm on the fence. I might do a video tomorrow and post a video tomorrow, maybe one Friday. I'm not sure. But if you guys don't see me, there's nothing wrong. If you want to check out what I'm doing, just follow my stories on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And you'll see there's nothing wrong with me, but Doc is just taking a rest, one of about 4 rests that I've got this summer. And I appreciate your support. And I look forward to working with you all, getting these client sessions going here in the next 2 weeks as we finish up the rest of the year. Okay. Y'all are amazing. Enjoyed all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like the video, share the video. I'll keep this one up. If you all want me to, I'll keep it up. Support the show, and I will see you all not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Okay. All right. Y'all have a tremendous evening, and we'll see you soon. All right. Peace and blessings. Be good now.